spies goodbye.
Lives have already been spared with it. My own, Agent Daniel Sousa, those 2 soldiers you just locked in a cell. It's also the proof you needed. Proof? You must realize it by now.
Proof that this is a new timeline.
Well, I'm no Michael Corleone, but just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. So I'm not gonna start off by saying that this is probably my last video before the finale airs and I do the review on the finale, because I'm not really sure it's gonna be my last video. Every time I think it is my last video, I either realize that I've got more to say, like there's something else I want to add, usually based on the comments that I'm getting on my videos, or they just drop something interesting, like for example this new sneak peek. But okay, this video is going to be a mix of both. I want to talk about 2 things. I want to talk about that sneak peek, and I also want to talk about all those theories that I'm reading in the comments to my videos, you know, about how this is going to tie in with Avengers Endgame or with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general, because I think some of the expectations out there do need to be grounded a little bit, like they're too much, and also I do think that some of the expectations in terms of theories, while thought will tie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the movie side will not really tie into it. Let us start though with that second topic. Let's start with the first theory out there. You know, Sousa is going to end up in 2012, end up becoming a cop somehow before that time, and then end up being that cop on the Avengers movie. Now the problem with this is twofold. Cora did make it clear on the most recent episode that Sousa's removal out of the timeline, that was basically a major change, that's a branching to the timeline. In order though for him to be the cop in 2012, this should have always happened, like he should have always been removed out of the timeline and ended up in 2012, or otherwise you're basically creating yet another branching to the timeline, and that wouldn't be your regular 2012 timeline. So the answer over here is no. I know I had that idea early on in the events of the season, but right now with the givens that we've got, with the explanations that we've got so far, this is not really feasible. I did say though this was twofold. The other part I'm going to talk about in more detail closer to the end of this video, but you could just not repeat the same trope over and over again. You don't want to do this to Daisy, not because I care about the relationship, but because you've already done this with Lincoln, like her losing him, with him sacrificing himself in the line of duty, so you cannot really do that again. But okay though, the second theory out there, the second idea that people have got into how this will tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and give someone like Coulson the opportunity to join in future events, future movies. The whole point of this one is that our current version of Coulson on the series, you know, Chronic Coulson or LMD/Chronic Coulson, is basically gonna end up replacing his version out of the Avengers movies, you know, the one that ended up dead. And the problem is, once again, you are creating a new branching to the timeline, because all the events after that, you know, restoring him through Tahiti, the appearance of Nick Fury, the MCU's very Nick Fury on our series on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that would never have happened, so you're creating yet another branching to the timeline. Remember, Nick Fury would realize this is not really the Coulson, that he knows this guy is basically made of tech, and that would be a problem, and would basically demolish the assumption that this would in any way fit within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now the other thing over here that you need to consider is this would be okay if the objective that we've got over here is to keep Coulson alive. Like we want a living Coulson to end up with May, for example, to have some kind of happy ending after all these years. But to think that somehow this would fit in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie timeline, that's definitely a no-go. But speaking though of the third theory, a lot of others are discussing how Daisy and Yo-Yo should end up in S.W.O.R.D. We do know there's a S.W.O.R.D. project out there. However, though, the problem with all of this kind of assumption is that it does not really fit. I don't think that Nick Fury is just gonna walk in at the end of the series finale that is, and recruit by the bunch. I think if he recruits someone, it's gonna be one person, and I think that one person is most probably going to be Daisy. Not Yo-Yo, not Coulson, no one else, just Daisy. Now the reason I say this is that Kevin Feige has always seemed to politically and smartly, by the way, underplay the role of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like tried to insinuate that it wasn't really part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, pulling multiple characters out of this series would be admission that this series was good, that this series belonged in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which once again, he did not really ever want to admit, like flat out admit. He always dodged these questions. He always tried to give politically smart answers in order to make sure that we get the hint. No, it does not really belong in his opinion. Now, this doesn't really take away from the value of the series, it's just that it's all about those internal feuds within Marvel as an establishment that date back to 10 to 12 years ago, and ones that led to Marvel Studios breaking out and working on its own, becoming its own thing. So judging by everything that's been said, everything that's been done over the years, if there's gonna be a recruitment of one single character, it's probably gonna be Daisy, and it's not gonna be of other characters. It's not like we're gonna get all of these characters again in the future on a Marvel Studios produced TV series or movie. So I'd say let's not dream big, let's ground our hopes and dreams a little bit, because in the end we do not want to get disappointed watching this finale, which I believe is going to be amazing. But in the end though, and before I present that sneak peek in order for me to break it down after that, let me say this. No matter what, if the ending of the series gives closure to this story, gives a satisfying ending to this story, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. story, not their tie-ins to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all of that, that will be very satisfactory. We gotta be content with that. The tie-in is going to be superficial, the tie-in is not really going to add to this story we just wanted, because somehow deep inside we believe the movies are far superior to this series, which I don't think they are. I mean, if I sit here and evaluate what they've got and what these have got, the kind of budgets that the series got, the kind of budgets that the movies have, if I sit here and compare the kind of characters that they are allowed to use on the series versus everything being pretty much allowed to Kevin Feige. As a matter of fact, he's the one with the keys to the storage room that has all the characters, and he's the one that picks and chooses what would be allowed to these guys, the guys making the series. So I'd actually say that with their relatively low budget and the fact that they were allowed only limited characters over all these years, characters that Kevin Feige didn't care for, and now that he cares for the Ghost Rider so much, he decided to cancel the Ghost Rider series as soon as he took over. I'd actually say that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. might actually be superior to the movies, that if they were given the money, the leeway, the rope, the kind of stories and the kind of comic book characters that they would have wanted to do, they might have actually done a better job than what Feige did. We'll never really know if they would have done that, but nonetheless, it is a possibility that we've got to keep in mind. Kevin Feige is doing a great job, but if there's something I've learned out of doing my job day in and day out, is there's always a better way to doing things, is there's always room for improvement. But okay though, let's check out that sneak peek. I'm gonna need just 2 to 3 minutes to talk about it at the end of this video, but let's check it out first, and then we could discuss it. Let's go.
That's a lot of chronocoms.
Just have to find. There. You see how those two are warmer? I'm pretty sure that's Simmons and Deke.
What about that one? There.
Cora.
How'd she get up here?
I don't care. She's not gonna stop me from getting back Simmons.
And Deke.
Sure.
So, how are we gonna do this?
Well, they don't know we're here, so I'll infiltrate the ship and I'll bring them back.
Okay. I'll figure out a way to get the hangar doors open. It seems they're our only way out.
I can't help with that.
Great. I'll be back.
Daisy.
Yeah.
Didn't know I was gonna do that.
I'm glad you did.
Okay, so I didn't mention before that there were two possibilities as to how they're gonna save Simmons and Deke. I always thought that the possibility, the bigger possibility, is they're gonna dock into the Zephyr with a Quinjet, let the Zephyr land inside the Chronicom ship, and then take the Zephyr for themselves, go back to Earth, bring back the rest of the team, and then go in and save Deke and Simmons. Apparently, that is not going to be the case. The case over here is that they're gonna take the mission themselves, they're gonna go in, fight the Chronicoms, get to Deke and Simmons, take them back, go back to Earth, and then all the rest of the stuff that we did watch on the trailer is gonna happen. Now, the first thing that you notice about this is they've already taken the Zephyr. They're already in the Zephyr. This is not the Quinjet. The second one, that's all about the warm bodies within the Chronicom ship. Now, two of these bodies are basically Simmons and Deke. They're together, they're probably in some kind of cell. But these two are marked in orange, smaller dots actually, or smaller circles. But then you've got this bigger oval shape, a white one. That's pretty much Cora. That's pretty much because of the heat she's generating. That's why she gets a different color as well. It's more heat coming out of her. But then there are 4 more dots over there, 4 more circles, 4 orange circles. And I think these are going to be Nathaniel, Garrett, and 2 of the other guys that they give abilities to by taking them from the Inhumans back in Afterlife. Now, these guys do not know what happened back on Earth. They don't know that Garrett teleported in, took Cora, and then teleported back to the Zephyr. So pretty much they're wondering what brought Cora over here. But they're on the right track, expecting that that person in there happens to be Cora. Now, I'm not really sure that the Nathaniel-Daisy battle is going to happen at this point, during this visit to the Chronicom ship, but I think though that she's still going to bump into Cora. There's going to be a conversation, and that conversation is going to lead into Cora actually kind of changing her mind. Like, she's not going to fully change her mind, but she's going to lean into it. It is possible as well that Cora is going to change it completely, maybe even attack Nathaniel. That's what's going to lead to the eyes lighting up, Nathaniel's eyes. He's going to kill her, he's going to take her powers, or at the very least, he's just going to take her powers without killing her. But okay though, there was a kiss there, and we've all got a comment on that kiss. So here's my comment on that kiss. The first time that Daisy kissed Sousa, during the time loop, the kiss he does not know about, or does not know about yet, that was initiated by Daisy. But this one, however, the one that he thinks, by the way, is his first kiss with Daisy, rather than his second kiss, this one is actually initiated by him. But yeah, though, Susie or Daviiz, that's definitely happening on the finale of the series. I know a lot of people are giving this ship different names, but it is happening. We're going to be seeing it on this episode. So I'm thinking, sword or not, there's definitely going to be a good ending for Daisy. At least some kind of a happy ending, as opposed to all the suffering and the trouble that she went through over the course of 6 seasons so far. Losing Coulson and then getting Sarge, thinking he might be Coulson, and then losing that as well, and now probably ending up losing Coulson, the scrawny Coulson, by the end of this season. But one more thing though, Daisy is going in to get Simmons back, so that kind of reminds her, and Deke. And then she goes, sure. Now, I'm sure all of you did watch those Comic-Cons and Comic-Con-like panels over the past few years. I'm sure as well that all of you watch all of those live streams. And as part of an inner joke between the cast and crew, they love to give Jeff Ward shit. And that's basically what's happening over there. They're taking that out of real life, out of all the joking that we've watched so far, and putting it into the series. Like, yeah, sure, who remembers Deke? That having been said though, my work here is done, so let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this sneak peek. If you think I missed anything on this sneak peek, let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it one of those much appreciated likes, subscribing to this channel, and make sure while you're at it to enable notifications in order to get updates whenever I upload a new video, publish a new community post, or start a new live stream. But until the next time that you tune in for another one of my videos, be it an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video or otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in to this one. Stay safe and have a great day.